Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Road 3 replay. Spawn on the bottom left side as the Cyan Empire. We have Bashley versus the Yellow Soviets. We have Zima03. And as the random Red Empire, we have Tsing. Just Tsing. It is a 1v1v1. Though this is going to be a bit interesting. I'm not really super familiar how 1v1v1s will go. We do now have the Dojo Corps advancing forward. Let's go contest this oil derrick. This oil derrick's not being contested. Soviet player is going for barracks into reactor, going for walls and now his refineries. Probably. Engineer will claim this oil derrick. This one will be claimed by Cyan. And this Dojo Corps is trying to stop Red from getting this oil refinery. And the engineer does come out, but being body blocked his own Dojo Corps. And Cyan is trying to body block. And now got a sprinting around the structure. And he will get in. Can't go one way, go the other way. You do now have a tank buster here, but he gets crushed. I mean, just leave the... Just leave that Dojo Corps there. There's no point of contesting it because he's just going to camp your infantry. You can't really fight. The engineer got lucky. It does get mutual trade there, which is good. And Red's going for an early third expansion there. Cyan has deployed out a burst drone here, so Cyan and Red are really gauging out each other while Yellow is being nice and slow, which is fine. Going for a sentry gun. And for a sentry gun, you also need a dispenser. You know how that the Dojo Corps has to pull out tank busters, not an engineer. That could be engineer. Over here, got the war bear pushes his way down south. Paul just trying to scout out. Is going to capture up the oil derrick there. Very nice. Red has also pulled out a power plant in the corner. Huh, there's like a ruined structure here. That almost looks like it's from Kane's Wrath and Tiberium Wars 3, not something from Router 3. That's just old, murky, and destroyed. Ore Collector now receiving fire from the Mecha Tengu. The Ore Collector could win out versus engagement if the fight is coming really close. And the Ore Collector will win out. Got his friendly Jet Tengu, Mecha Tengu pushing on forward. So he plays going for expansion, going for a lot of defense as well, going for nice and slow. Yellow and Cyan are doing a good job at hitting each other. And Soviet player does not mind not receiving a lot of fire. And barely saves the Ore Collector right there. In fact, the Ladybug there did receive a bit of damage there, so it's getting repaired up by the repair drone as well. Jet Tengu receiving quite a bit of fire, and it will not get shot down. I was going to say he's going to get transformed, get shot up, but that's not correct either. Cyan will spot the sentry gun. Doesn't spot anything else at the moment. We got an engineer here. Is he going for a battle bunker? There is a battle bunker. Interesting. And start gearing up some flak troops inside this battle bunker. The Soviet players are going to be a bit more turtle-ish. We got a handful of cool subs, and they can get some great work done over here. Ore Collector will finally be tasked back onto the line. Jet Tengu's now pushing away forward, trying to spot this region. And we'll spot the battle bunker there, losing one of the Jet Tengus to a battle bunker. Probably a little bit surprised about that. A cool sub's now advancing forward, does off that refinery immediately. Ore collector's going to be backing off his way onto land. Red's now advancing forward with a pair of jet Tengus, trying to get some good reconnaissance. Will get shot up quite a bit. One will go down. Chopper VX is advancing forward. Will find himself a flak tower there. Trying to go with the sentry gun, but the sentry gun will not go down, and we've got a flak trooper here as well. It does take out the sentry gun there with the honorable discharge. Flak cannon getting some good damage there. Does it? Reactive armor has been activated. Doesn't have any mobile defense, and now both these ore collectors are being harassed. Needs to get out something over here. Doesn't have a warp factory, which is actually a bit of a problem. And flak troopers are not saying great versus jet Tengus or mega Tengus. They're sure they can engage each other, but it's not as great because flak troopers can also be picked off by them. There's a quarrel not going on up. Bit of harassment there on the science base, and that's the nice thing about 1v1v1s. If one person's being aggressive, it leaves them open to a counterattack. Soviet player is now eyeing his MCV push on forward. We've got a naval yard here as well. And Red will send up this ore collector up here, and will get gunned down by a battle bunker. Got a line of infantry here. We do now have these cool subs advancing forward. We'll be able to get some good damage. So far, a Soviet player will claim the sea, and this ore refinery will be spotted and will be taken out. Defender Corps would not be able to do much with the cool subs. There's all troop leaders there. Not even worth risking these guys transform. Red could push forward as well. And Red will spot the fact those cool subs did take out that naval expansion. So he's probably going to be a bit pleased about that. We got some chopper beaks on the ground. Red has reclaimed this oil derrick as well. And Yellow's claimed this oil derrick. And now there's nothing left out at sea for the cool subs to engage. Not going for ore refinery just yet, going for a Tesla coil. Yellow's going to be a little bit too heavy in defenses, I would say. Though, I can't blame him. Battle bunkers are awesome. I'll also put a battle bunker. You could put another 2 battle bunkers over here, and that'd be very, very good versus anything that advanced that's aircraft, that's Empire. Unlike the infantry will come advance. Hell, they'll be effective versus rocket angels. Just not good versus Yuriko. Unless they're loaded with conscripts. Even then, they won't be good against Yuriko. Oh, Derek now receiving some fire from the chopper VXs. This one will be reclaimed by Cyan. And the oil derrick does go down. Red's not advancing forward just yet. And this base has been built up. Got a flak tower and a Tesla coil. Bullfrog's been plotted out. Nice little transform there. Okuloso's now patrolling around. And now we do have a mainframe core, so maybe eyeing for some tier 3 could be King Oni, Wave Force Artillery, and potential super weapons. Science also claimed the central refining expansion. Red could claim down advance towards as well. Nobody. The Soviet player has control of the sea. The Soviet player could go for this expansion out at sea as well. This one time, the Soviet player going for another MCV would not hurt. So that will probably be a stupid idea. We do not have a defender core. Red's now aimed to expand into the center. Yellow's MCV has expanded in the center as well. Multiple defense now being poured on out. Still got a big swell of forces here. The Science been doing a good job of being mobile with them. Full subs a little bit everywhere, trying just to camp perhaps all the potential naval expansions. Though we do now have Cyan now deploying a sizable fleet with a large number of Naginata cruisers, as well as some Sea Wings. So we've got tier 2 here. Wave Force artillery now being employed out as well. Yellow's expansion here will be interrupted. It doesn't sell off. Good idea to perhaps just sell that stuff, just get a bit of cash refund. And looks like the Chocolate VXs do not get the kill there on that naval yard. Not sure, that could be the breakthrough technology. Oh no, breakthrough's already been purchased as a Shogun battleship. Point defense drone does expire. Do now have the ore collector under fire. That Mecha Tengu does have a point defense drone as well. We're seeing a lot of fire and does get picked off there, and the point defense drone on the ore collector does save it from any further damage. Science now advancing forward with a Shogun battleship. If it's escort navy as well, it'd be hard to deal with it, though he may need to get some more Sea Wings, honestly. Science now advancing with a ground force over here. Let's take a look at everybody's credits right now. Game's been a little bit passive. Cyan has a good reserve. Red has a good reserve. And Soviet player has a bit too large of a reserve. It's a good hit there on that Tesla coil. We do have another Tesla coil being employed now, but it's not going to be useful versus a Shogun, not Wave Force artillery. Does have a crusher crane here. Does still have the battle bunker, but needs some twin blades, honestly. This force is very vulnerable to twin blades. Soviet MCV now eyeing this naval expansion now. Oh! Mag mines. Now every day you see this, airdropped infantry units from twin blades in nanotech mainframe core will also be another good blow, and does sell it off entirely. That was a great assault there, taking out the tier 3 Mecha Bay as well as the nanotech mainframe. A little bit overkill on those forces. Does crush that ore collector, very good. Now Red's advancing forward. This will force back Cyan. He can't be losing this infrastructure as well. And Cyan's now, he's forced withdrawal. And that's the thing about 3 1v1v1s. Push forward and you'll get counterattacked. It's a double-edged sword. You may win on one flank, but you may lose everything in return. The person who moves last can generally win the game. And the person who moves first tends to lose the game, as well as the person who he attacks tends to not do all too well, but not necessarily knocked out the game as well. Good point defense drone there. A cool sub patrolling around. This, of course, these Naginata cruisers as well as the Sea Wings. But the Shogun battleship is no longer on the field. Not sure what happened to it. May have been picked off by those chopper VXs. Science advancing forward, trying to get some good engagement. There's, of course, 2 flak towers here at a Tesla Point. Yeah, he's not going to get anywhere anytime soon with that. It's going to be a costly engagement. Does find himself a free Wave Force artillery. Dropper VXs are now transformed as well. There's also now a King Oni on the field. And now getting a little bit overwhelmed. Do have a Shogun battleship deployed out by Red. The cool subs could push over and get it. Now the Chopper VXs do go down. Red does a little bit outgunned on the Air Force. Chopper VX now gains good damage on it, or Striker VXs. And now Dreadnought barrage coming out in the oil derrick. Cash bounty does net him a 500 credit bounty. Wave Force artillery trying to engage, is receiving some artillery fire. Point defense drones are down. He's hitting the flak tower. Now takes advance forward. Wave Force artillery is still alive, severely wounded. Looks like the force fire on the ground, the last known location. And the Wave Force artillery is still avoiding the artillery fire. Now Chopper Vegas Force pushing on way forward. He took out all the anti-aircraft. He does take out one of those dreadnoughts now. Wave Force artillery fall on back. Getting some much needed repairs. Multiple Wave Force artillery push move forward now. He also has one cool sub out in the field. And now got the Dreadnought receiving quite a bit of fire as well. There's the ore refinery. Takes out one of the Dreadnoughts with the Wave Force artillery. And gets a good hit there as well, getting collateral damage onto those forces. Takes out the Dreadnought with the collateral damage as well. Avoids all the Dreadnought fire. All the Dreadnoughts are down. Red could advance forward with Shogun battleships, which could knock out Sign of the game, go to this inlet, and obliterate everything. You have a Skywing out in the field, or in the air, and have a Jet Tengu over here. Red sort of just dancing around, not really being aggressive. No sign of deploy out super weapon either. I suppose if you deploy out super weapon, both players are going to be attacking you. Though if one of them goes for Iron Curtain or Nanoswarm, that would be something different. Jet Tango's getting killed on off by the Bullfrogs. None of the blades are going down. Chopper VXs are still firing up. You notice these Chopper VXs will claim the sky. Dreadnought volley raining on in. 2 Dreadnoughts have been rebuilt. And overall, it's not looking good for Cyan. He needs to take out this yellow base right here. Red does have a good amount of forces here, but he has a good amount of infantry here for defense. But he needs to take out this expansion. Cyan's now on 2 refinery, and these are down to the last 5,000. Oh no, he's on 1 refinery. He's down to the last 5,000 credits on that 1 refinery. More defense drones have been deployed on out. Got now Dreadnoughts rotating around. Wave artillery is using premature discharge. Good damage there onto those Wave Force artillery. One of them's now fully heroic. Gets a good damage shot there onto the naval yard. Another fully heroic Wave Force artillery taking out a number of forces, including some dreadnoughts. Warfighter now seeing a bit of fire. One of the heroic ones do go down. Got an elite dreadnought. If it gets a fully heroic, it can use sacrificial launchers quite a bit. Cyan now has 2 refineries up and going. This dreadnought's now rotating around. Cool sub patrolling around. We do have the dreadnought now firing, and do now have the ore refinery seeing quite a bit of fire. Bullfrog will go down, getting a fully heroic Mecha Tengu. Oops, I hit my microphone with my hand. Now we also have a fully heroic Dreadnought on the field. We do have a Refinery Corps as well as a Defender Corps there, both been pulling out. Do still have a good number of Naginata cruisers. Now Red's going advancing on force well. Yellow does not have a whole lot of ground defenses, and this area is vulnerable to the Wave Force artillery. Signs now eyeing to engage Red, maybe? Little the Red sign realized if he just sort of wait a moment, he'll be fine. He has one refinery going, so it's not completely knocked out of game. And it looks like the Red's just sort of not advancing forward. You now have another airfield being deployed on out. Now Sign's making his advance. Red does have 4 Wave Force artilleries as well as a King Oni. Sign has 4 Wave Force artillery, very veteran as well. Good hits there from the Wave Force artillery hitting the naval forces. Looks like this expansion was destroyed at one point in time, now being rebuilt. So it does take out the Red expansion down south. No Dreadnoughts here, going for more Tesla coils. At this point in time, the Tesla coils have not been useful whatsoever. Everybody's been focused on bringing the heavy artillery. So the Tesla coils can be sold off. The flak towers, they probably can stay. The power needs to be brought back up, though. Wave Force artillery gets good damage on in. It takes out the refinery as well. Just sell off its infrastructure at this point in time. It's not really that important. Red maybe eyeing to advance. Sign does have an MCV here, not doing this expansion point. It does have 2,250 credits. Not a lot though. It does rebuild this one here, which does have 11,000 credits. King Oni now receives some artillery fire. King Oni does go down. Good kills there. And now we've got the Twin Blades now eyeing to advance. We may finally see some actual aggressive engagement, because so far this game's been pretty quiet. And of course, not anti-aircraft mode, so it can be quickly picked off without receiving any damage. Got some of these Jet Tengus. Mecha Tengus getting gunned down deck as well. Make its face forward, getting some hit kills there. Mass Transform makes it to start pushing forward, gets good damage on these Jet Tengus. Twin Blades are receiving quite a bit of fire, and does go and start focusing on that MCV. Does go for the cash market onto it, but does lose all of his air forces. And does lose that unit as well. This Twin Blade will, or not Twin Blade, the Twin Blade does go down, the Jet Tank goes down. You have Desolate Airstrike deployed out as well. Sign's now advancing forward with his force. Yellow's been spent too much on these base defenses, now he has trouble deploying out anything. Takes out a bear. And now the bears are seeing some fire. He needs work on the premature discharge. Vacuum satellite? No. magnetic singularity gets a good number of infantry kills there. Very, very nice. And walks a couple more guys in there. There's 4 soldiers sort of patrolling around. Red's not being aggressive either. Their tank flying about, receiving some flak fire. Their tank is now flying about, trying to get some good damage on in. Right now, this game's just so quiet. This is not really a good game to cast, is it? Nice, slow, boring game. Dreadnoughts do fire some missiles over there. Didn't get much work done. You now have the Wave Force artillery advancing forward, trying to deal with these dreadnoughts out of sea. Dreadnoughts doing a good job of rotating around. He's actually aiming from the naval yard now. Takes out the naval yard. These guys are 3 of them are fully heroic, so they can take out naval yards very, very quickly. Bears can't do much. He does have to worry about this flak trooper that's almost dead. Does get great collateral damage there. Almost takes out the super reactor. Super reactor does go down, knocking the Soviet players out of power. Does have to flak the battle bunker here. The battle bunker is getting some great damage onto the Wave Force artillery. Does take out that Wave Force artillery. And now the battle bunker has been de-garrisoned. Tank buses can, and Imperial War should be able to deal with these forces, no problem. Got bonsai charges there. Science not going through Yellow's base. Dreadnought still flying around, receiving a nasty shot there. Pressure crane will go down. He still has his MCV over here. Gonna go from those super reactor out at sea. Looks like a Dreadnought shot right there. Yep, Dreadnought now trying to hit Red's base. Good kills there. Trying to clean up this infrastructure. Does get on high power again, but he should be able to overwhelm that Tesla coil with all this infantry. Red does, of course, scout this out, which means Red could eye to attack his opponent's base. Now he realizes, like, yeah, now I can attack his base. Also realizing Yellow's pretty much gutted. Takes out that refinery there. Blue definitely needed that. I see her tank buster surprise being put out there. Oh! Magnetic Singularity gets a great kills there, as well as with Cash Bounty. Cyan does manage to pull back his Wave Force artillery. Does have a couple Chopper VXs or Striker VXs and Twin Blades still in the field. Red does also have some good veteran Wave Force artillery as well. One of them's getting fueled automatically to full health. You got a whole bunch of Shogun battleships could push its way forward. Yellow's expansion now under siege. Yellow only has 1 refinery up and going and is depleted. And there's actually no anti-aircraft forces in this region. And now Yellow should be knocked out of the game relatively soon. Dreadnought does go down. Trying to go for a Bullfrog. Bullfrog does come out, but gets splashed down. He goes Naval Yard. Yellow will be annihilated. Yellow's now... He still has a Naval Yard over here on a depleted refinery. It's probably not going to be very good. Low in power as well. He needs to sell off all that infrastructure to get better power. This Empire player, Red, has a little less than 4,000 credits. The Soviet player still has a good amount of credits as well. Going for an MCV now. It needs to sell off some of this infrastructure. Sell off the Tesla coil, as well as one of the flak towers. It should be powering up fine. Eh, just the Tesla coil. You don't really need that at this one time. Or how about this black tower? Cyan has no credits remaining. And point defense drones have worn off. Nice point defense drones there. Red has been AFK this entire game? Or recently? Because I don't think Red's been doing anything right now. Science is making its way forward. Maybe trying to hit some of the infrastructure. Red's now starting to advance. Final squadron being plotted out. Got a bit of a sound bug there. These forces are making its way forward. There's the final squadron. There's a regular fire squadron. Takes out that Dojo core. Red's forces not being picked off by his opponent's wave force artillery. They're all fully heroic, so get the extra range, which is very, very important. Red's force only has a couple chopper striker VXs for anti-aircraft purposes, and this does have a defender core here. He can quickly focus that down. Sea-Wing's now firing away as well. And does decide to fall back there. Shogun battleships getting some good damage on his original base. His ore refinery here is depleted, so signs down to... Oh, he does expand up here on a depleted refinery. As well as here, which does have 15,000 credits. Wave Force Artillery is now advancing forward, trying to get some shots at the Wave Force Artillery. Needs time to charge up, takes it out. As Red's Wave Force Artillery is shooting wall segments. Red is not paying attention, losing his force here. And Red is now backing on off. Got now Tank Buster Surprise here. Yellow still, MCV has not been redeployed just yet. Sea-Wings now engaging these chopper VXs. They are helping them more heroic. You know, now also have a King Oni deployed out by Cyan, and as well as the point defense drones now going on down. I think Buster's pushing way forward. And I need to use the restroom. And this game will likely not be going over anytime soon. But it's there on the Red's MCV. Very, very nice. Takes out the Shogun battleship there. Red also still has an oil derrick as well. Yellow has already expanded up north. There is some credits there. 9,000 credits. Takes out another Shogun battleship. You got the Wave Force Artillery picking off these Tank Busters. He does take out that ore refinery as well. You know what? Since yellow is, or Cyan's only one advancing, let's just go ahead and switch to him, and I'm going to use restroom while this is going. Sorry about that. This game went on for much longer than I really should have.
I'll collect the goods.
Let's see what's going on now. Red's Navy's push on forward to take out Science expansion here. Jet was the only one that provided some decent amount of credits. This one is depleted here, so it's not providing a whole lot of credits. Red still has a pretty sizable force here. And still hear the Wait Force Artillery's audio is bugging out. Yellow, of course, has expanded up here. It is expanding up there, slowly. Now the Naginata cruisers are seeing a bit of fire. Do got the Sea Wings getting some good damage there onto these chopper VXs. Red still has a pretty good defensive force here. And you also got a vacuum satellite here. Does claim the ore collector as well. That is actually pretty good harassment there. And Yellow's selling off everything in the game. So Yellow is now out of the game officially. So now it's a 1v1. Red has a superior amount of infrastructure and a very, very good large number of forces here. But Cyan does have a higher quality force, I would say. Red could just attack forward. Cyan doesn't have a whole lot of infrastructure, and a lot of the Cyan stuff cannot be replaced. Red did lose his old Derrick as well, and now losing his tank busters as well. He still has a lot of depleted refineries. 3, which is 3 times the amount of economy that his opponent has. Shogun battleships now providing some broadsides out from sea. It does get some good damage there on the ore refineries now. Red's now advancing forward with these Mecha Tengus. And do have a final squadron being put out. It appears to be just a regular final squadron. Doing a good job with stutter stepping there. Does see a lot of friendly fire damage there. Massive wave of jet Tengus. Does use Emperor's Rage right there. Trying to focus down some of these forces. This would be a great time for a bull rush. Gets a 1, 2, 3 bull rush kill. King Oni does go down. Now I do got a final squadron been put out by Cyan. And this is going to be a larger one. It is a Final Squadron X ×2 one. Balloon bombs now being cast on in from Red. Trying to Giant deny his opponent to withdrawal. Red's now pushing forward with a lot of these forces. Jet Tengus or Mega Tengus pushing forward. MCV trying to push on the front line, but getting body blocked by the heroic Wave Force Artillery. MCV will likely go down now. Cyan goes for a mass transform, trying to deal with these forces. Trying to engage the air, and Cyan will likely be overwhelmed by these forces. Yep, now Cyan's down to the last of the structure, has plenty of force on the ground. I think most needs to be a move forward, and now be focused on these forces now. Takes out those Wave Force Artillery. And now the Mecha Bay is under fire. And there we go, that is the end of the replay. This is Anna Great saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.